Welcome to Perfection is Fake Podcast.
Today is episode 7, part 1, and today our guest is
Alexa Anderson.
So, Alexa, are you aware that this month's topic is generosity?
I am aware of that, yes.
Okay, that's good. How well do you think generosity plays a role in your life? Like, do you think it's a strong suit on your wheel or a weak suit?
I definitely think it could be a little stronger on my part, but I don't think it's like a weakening spot. I try to give as much as I can. One of my favorite things to do is give. And then at church, with my faith and everything, I don't have like a steady income, but I do get an allowance, and so I give 10% of that at church as well, which I think is super important for generosity.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said you get an allowance. What do you have to do, or what are the requirements?
It's really okay. So I have,
I don't have like.
I have two households. So divorced parents. With my dad, it's just regular stuff. It's kind of like maintenance. It's not like you have to check off a list of things, and that's like it's like $20 like every other week, and then so. It's enough.
Yeah, definitely.
For not having to like work hard. And then my mom, she like has us like separate it into different things. So like she gives us a certain amount for like tithe and for savings, or like she gives it to us and then she has us like separate it into tithe, savings, and then spending.
Do y'all have the traditional 10% of your allowance?
Yeah, 10%. Except sometimes, depending on how much it is, because it kind of varies. If it's like Usually, if it's like $10, like I'll put more than $1 in because I feel bad just like dropping a singular dollar. So I'll sometimes do like half or like. But since I don't have an income, if I had one, it would be like 10%.
Gotcha. I like that.
That's nice.
How does generosity affect how do you see others or yourself being generous?
I definitely think that to be generous, you have to always have that giving heart. You can't just be generous whenever you want, or for me, I can't just say that I'm generous just because I want to give on Sundays. I feel like generosity doesn't just have to be giving things or money, but also giving your time. I feel is super important, and so I feel people who are always willing to jump in to do something, I feel that's generosity as well.
Do you think it's your strong suit or your weaker suit?
Like I said, it's kind of in the middle. I wouldn't say that I'm super weak in it, but I think anyone could always be better at giving.
Do you get that feeling? Do you feel better when you donate money to places? Or
yeah, for sure. I definitely, especially if you can see it make an impact. So with tithe and everything, it's not always immediate that because you can't follow where that money goes. But especially when you give time to somebody, or even just talking through things with people, it's you can see how it affects them, and I feel seeing that impact does really help brighten their day as well as your own.
Are you a part of Give?
I try to make it to as many meetings as possible. Have a super busy schedule, but I try to be there as much as I can. And I love the idea of nonprofits. That's what I want to do when I grow up, is I want to work with nonprofits. And so obviously I don't know which one yet, but I'd really like to work on giving back.
Yeah, because Give does a really good job at that. It you're working towards something, and then you actually see where your money's going.
Yeah,
or where the people's money's going, and it's just
it's pretty cool. It must be nice having Give.
For real. Okay, so we need to give boys.
Well, for a long time we were without some, so
okay. Give out boys.
Give out boys. I don't know about that one. We need to work on that one.
Also, it wouldn't be give, it'd be biv.
It'd be hand.
Because gives is girls interested in volunteer efforts.
Biv. Biv doesn't
Big
sound right.
boys. That kind of sounds like a bid.
Yeah.
It
big
doesn't
boys.
sound very cool.
Big boys.
No, actually.
It'd be mive. Men invested in volunteer.
That sounds better. Mive sounds...
You know what? Whatever. You know what? I just can't win.
It's because it's not meant for boys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because you guys aren't generous.
Some things you just have for you. You just gotta leave to the women. You know what I mean?
You
Have you ever done anything generous?
Yeah, I want to go around.
Actually,
I want you to say
one by one.
Okay.
Okay, we can start with you.
Okay.
Start with you.
I've given at least $5 to a waiter.
Really? No
I
way.
tipped before.
I'm so generous that I don't even keep track of it.
I don't. Okay.
That can't even do one.
Not just so many.
We were literally talking about this earlier because I said for like my job interview, like we were talking. They asked you like, hey, something you feel like generous about, and he said, what did I put? And you put something down too because they asked you the same question. What did you put?
I know he don't remember.
These are so embarrassed.
Brother.
Anyways,
So have you seen any instances in which like generosity has been used negatively, or like their like generosity was just to like gain your trust or something?
oh.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I do actually recently have an experience.
Like it's like they're generous to get something back.
Well, yeah, it kind of feels like it. There's a lot of people who I feel like, once again, we're not naming names, but a lot of people who I feel like might offer an open ear, and they can use.
Yeah, blackmail.
But they, not as blackmail, but they,
Lila's crazy.
instead of just, no, this isn't, just Lila understands the
it's-
situation.
yeah.
She's also had to deal with this person.
Hyla
But
looks like she's holding
They
back.
harbor,
Wait.
it's like when they harbor a lot of people's feelings and then kind of use it against them or use it to their own advantage. I feel like it's not, I feel like that can be said a lot more with money or people who take your generosity for granted rather than like, generosity wasn't the problem, but rather like the person who was receiving could be, right? Because you don't want to use the money for like ill will or anything. Like the goal isn't to use generosity for bad. So sometimes if like the person that you're telling this to or the person who's giving you their time, they can kind of like use it against you and be like, oh well, I give you my time on this, you have to do this back for me, or just kind of in situations like that. So I feel like it can go both ways. There can be a negative aspect, but I feel like if you're in that place of being generous and giving your time or your money, whatever it is, I feel like you should have confidence in who you're giving to, who you're talking to, and who you could give money to. You know where that money's going. And
It's
so
it's like trying to like a homeless ask you for money but they smell like they're not gonna use it for good things. You know?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. What we try to do is a lot in my family is we don't like just give out money to homeless, but we'll buy like groceries or like a basket or something, so you can know what that's going to, and it's still being generous, but you know what's gonna happen with those things.
My mom always has that talk with people, because you'll find a lot of them inside of Walmart, and she's like, if like I'm gonna give you the money, but this is up to you on what you use it for. And sometimes they'll ask for a lot of money, but sometimes they look like they need it, and you never know what it's going towards.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta trust them a little. Whether they're using it for good or bad, you can't really tell sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't really tell someone how to live their life.
Yeah, because there are people that like scam or like they'll act homeless and then they'll take the money for themselves.
Yeah.
You did mention that you do tithes, correct? Does your church support missionaries that you know of?
We have our own like missions program from our church, so we go to a lot of different places, and we have a program at our church. I go to a church in Longview, so it's kind of far away, but it's called Beyond, and so they work on like building the church so that they can go to like missions farther away, because they go to a place called like the LA Dream Center a lot. That's where they send a lot of people, but they do have like their own missions thing. And then we actually do a thing, I haven't been able to participate in it yet, but it's called Serve Day. So there's like a third Saturday serve basically, and every third Saturday like they get together and they bring a whole bunch of things and then they serve the community and stuff like that. And so that's really what a lot of it goes for, and you can see the impact that they're making.
It's really nice.
Do you have siblings?
I do.
Have yours, or are they younger or older?
I have a younger biological brother, and then I have 2 older step siblings, but we didn't like overlap a whole lot.
Gotcha. Do you experience generosity with them?
Definitely harder with them than with other people. My little brother's kind of wild, but really patience is more the struggle there than generosity. I don't mind giving or anything. I love to give time, but sometimes it's a lot harder to like give something when you feel like you're short on it, which is I feel like a lot of times people struggle with like tithe or with time or whatever, just because like you're like, well, I don't have a lot, why am I giving more? But it's like it will come back to you. Like that is all in God's plan. That's what I believe, is it will all come back to you. So sometimes you have to like think through that when they're nagging and nagging and nagging, then you have to like take time out of your day and know that it's not going to harm you in any way. But like you ignoring them could harm them or hurt them.
So I have a quick question. You keep on mentioning like tithe, or what is that? I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with that.
Okay, you're good. So in Christianity, in the church, they recommend that you give 10% of your savings to the church. Some people who like aren't super religious, they could even see tithe as giving it to any charity, just any way that you can give back. It doesn't have to be to church. But they believe that when you give up your own material goods, then God will bless you and stuff like that. So it's not always for just doing it in turn, but kind of regularly giving. We know that all of our things are God's anyway, and so having the willpower to kind of give that up and give back to the community.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like a symbol of surrender.
Yeah.
It's like saying you don't let the materialistic things override you and have power over your life.
Yeah.
It's showing that you're willing to give up something that you're working for because you appreciate the fact that God gave you a capable body to work for the money that you have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Do you have anyone in your life that you consider to be generous?
That's a good question. Other than Jesus. Lila, obviously. Other than Lila.
Other than Lila.
That's a given. That's a given.
That's it. Is it?
Lila's like a star.
She's pretty good.
I don't think she's ever bought me food. No, I'm kidding. I don't know about this.
Last time she didn't want to buy something.
No, actually, Lila one time she told me she was on my coffee. I didn't let her, but that was generous of her. So.
So
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. There you
And it
go.
was Janice.
And she's giving me rides here, so that's generous.
I
She
never-
is very sweet.
I never got a coffee.
She is. She is when she wants
Yeah, I
to.
don't remember getting a free coffee.
Is it just for girls? Like,
Y'all yeah.
Let's leave Lila alone.
Then
Y'all
I-
are the one with paying jobs and more
Yeah.
ability. Y'all should be offering her coffee.
She's a girl.
I
Has
see.
a job.
She has a job too.
But I know, but she's younger, so it's like the pay's less.
Y'all are
Actually, we're the same
Exactly.
age. So.
So how old are you?
Anyways, Alexa, what qualities? What do you think makes Lila generous?
I think anyone who's like, and her it's more when she wants to be, but anyone who
Hey, that's a good thing though. That's
is
a good
willing
thing.
to give up
You mean you have
something
self-control. Yeah.
that they want. I feel like being generous isn't always just giving up what you have, but even if it's something that you want, and like kind of honestly, generosity is a little bit of sacrifice. I think so when she's able to kind of sacrifice like what she does. She gives a lot of us in our friend group rides. I will say that, and we don't do our part on the gas money. So I'll say that's very generous. My stepdad, I feel like, is very generous. Anytime he sees anyone on the side of the road, no matter where he's going, no matter how late we are, he'll see if they need help. Especially if they look like they're struggling. Things like that, just with like the groceries. So a lot of times like my family and things and people in church, it's crazy to see how much they give and how much they love God, because a lot of times I'm like, there's no way that's 10%, like that has to be more than 10%, because there's like people who pledge like a certain amount each month, and it's like, whoa, mind-blowing. So seeing that they might want that, but they're willing to give it up for something else, I feel like is very generous.
So what people are generous towards and how they're generous, it kind of shows like their values. Like with your
Yeah,
dad, he values
exactly.
helping others, and Lila values her friendships.
Yeah.
And so she's willing to take them around every.
That's a
I
good
like
point.
your
I
connection.
She's like, keep going, keep going.
keep going.
I mean, I
like
really
what you
don't
talk
mind.
about, though, because like if you're being forced to like give something, it's not. Is it generosity? Like, are you being generous by like
Right.
if you're being forced into giving stuff?
I don't.
rather than-
I wouldn't consider that the same.
Yeah, rather than giving it out of like your own pocket, out of like your own
Mhm.
will.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would you say your values are whenever you give generously? Like besides
my
that,
values are definitely, I feel like they lie a lot in my faith, and kind of like loving everybody, and realizing, especially with time, even if we don't consider money, because I don't have a lot of money to give, but I'll give it when I can. Just kind of with like time and everything, just knowing that like loving everybody is very important and like such a value that like you should turn your life upon, and so kind of giving them the time of day and not turning anybody out. I feel like I show value in my faith that way. I feel like those are where a lot of my values lie.
Okay. When's the time you've experienced, or like, how would you ask this? When's the From what you remember, what's like the most
Mhm.
generosity moment you've experienced? Like someone has done for you.
Oh, that someone's done for me?
Like, what's the most generous thing someone's done for you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I don't know. I actually really don't.
Okay.
Just kind of the little things. I find like a lot in like acts, like in the way people act, and things like that. I think those are just super generous. It doesn't have to be. Honestly, I wouldn't say there's anything big that's like somebody's giving me a kidney, but like
Yeah.
but you know, it's all the little things, and like my parents make a lot of sacrifices. I feel like, especially my mom. I feel like she does a lot for me and stuff like that, and kind of sometimes will like give up things she wants to do to help out. And we live super far away, and so she's very generous in giving me rides all the way to Tyler and then all the way back and stuff like that, and all of those kinds of things. So that's what I would say is the most generous, is like all the little things kind of add up over time, is the continuous generosity rather than one act of generosity.
Now I'm kind of curious. What's a moment for all of you guys that you
Yeah.
I was gonna
experienced
ask
generous?
Don't start with me.
One, let's start with you.
Wait, like me being generous to someone?
No, somebody being
Someone
generous to you.
generous to you. Like, what's the most thing you've experienced? Like the biggest thing for you that you can think of.
I don't know.
I got
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Okay. I think, well, I don't want to say this as particular person in general, because then I would be discrediting all the other people who did this for me. But there's been a lot of times where I feel like I have nobody to talk to, and I need to open up to somebody, but I feel insecure, and I'm like, I shouldn't open up because nobody cares. And then I go to open up to those people, and they make it a point for me to know that I do matter and people do care, and that they are my friends, so that way I can open up to them whenever, and
The
it's not like
reassurance.
yeah.
That's really nice.
Adriana?
Well, mine's not specific, but I just think when people are considerate, like you mentioned something and like, you know, it happens to pop up, or like they remember it. I think it's like, you know, you remember it. You're generous by like remembering things.
I like that.
I feel like for me, like it's just like not counting my parents, because I feel like they're very, 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 very generous, like all through their life. Like I've definitely took so much money out of their pocket.
So that's how they've been generous.
Absolutely. But the most memorable moment was that I remember, I think I was like in first or second grade, and like my dad was barely ever at home. He was usually working like first thing morning. He did closing shift at like a restaurant at Outbacks, and then like I'd barely ever see him. And then like as soon as school ended, I had to go with my mom, and then we went up to school because my mom was trying to get her degree to be a teacher. So I mean, I never really like, I was always like just alone, I guess. And then I remember one time on a weekend, I was with my family. We were walking around Colts or something. Like I think it was like, I don't know, there was like really good deals or something. And I mean, my family didn't really have money. We were living with another family, so it was pretty cramped. We didn't really have money. And I remember that we were walking around Kohl's, and there was this Tony Hawk. Do y'all know Tony Hawk?
Yeah,
The skater?
Yeah.
There was this black zip-up hoodie, and it like went all the way to the bottom, like all the way up, and you could zip up the hoodie, and it had like a little mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if y'all seen Tony Hawk. He's like a little skeleton, like a little cartoon skeleton character, and it was like an all black hoodie, and then like a skeleton figure outlined like on the hoodie, and it was like a white figure with like a light green outline all around. It was glow in the dark. And I'm telling y'all, I was going nuts for that thing. And my parents were like, no, like we don't have money. We can't buy that. And I was there like, please. And they were like, no, we can't. And just listen. And then like as we started walking off, some lady, like she saw like how much I really wanted that, but we just didn't have money like that. And then she came up to my parents. She was like, hey, like here's some money so you can get your kid that sweater, because it seems like he really wants it. Like it's an early Christmas present. Like I hope you enjoy it. And then he gave my parents that money, and then they got me that hoodie. And I'm telling y'all, that was like, I don't know, like every single time I think of generosity, it's always that moment. Like I don't think I've ever experienced generosity like that, especially from a complete stranger that had nothing to do with like my life in general. Like I've never known them. I've never known them. I've never knew who they were, what they did, and they just like went out of their way to do that for me.
That's so sweet.
It's crazy.
Adriana's crying.
It's crazy that you were in first grade and you still remember that. So that means that it definitely impacted you.
Yeah.
It's like usually you don't remember things that happened a while ago, you know.
And I wonder if she even knows like the impact that had.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
so,
she probably
yeah.
just thought it was like he won't remember this in like the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And he still did. That's crazy.
You
Shout out
the
to her.
It's so sweet.
Whatever comes across.
Because sometimes it's really like that. Sometimes you're like, you know, like you grow up and like, you know, you don't have money or like, you know, because I grew up like that too. It wasn't too bad, but like, you know, yeah. And so I'm just like to see like other people are nice and you know they're considerate of kids and like they're like, oh, you know, this kid can't have that, so you want to fight it.
And you, Daniel?
For me, for me, my parents have always been really generous to me, or at least to the family. Or because my parents split up, I went with my mom, and my mom basically went from having a lot of stuff to having basically nothing. So my mom would work long hours. She would do everything to take care of us, and then my dad also works a lot too to take care of us. Like sometimes I know one of the Christmases he got all, but I know that they would use a lot of money because my dad would get us like good stuff. He would give us he would get all us PS5s and there's five of us, right? And then everything else would be like ramen. and it would be like he works hard and he spends a lot of money. And then another generous thing for me is like my friends when they give me rides or stuff like that.
Probably I was thinking like probably my padrinos, cause like whenever like before we came here, you know, obviously my parents had to get papers or whatever to come here, and they needed someone to like co-sign for them to come over here, like to show that they have money, you know, that because we're gonna live with them, so they had to like sign papers saying that, you know, they're in charge for us, you know, anything that happens is gonna inevitably like.
Oh, dang.
Like if something happens, they're gonna be the ones, you know,
Take care.
Liable.
yeah, liable.
Responsible, yeah.
So, you know, and I mean, we didn't really know anybody here because you know we were barely coming. So
Yeah.
for them to like co-sign for my like parents to get papers and let us move I'd say it was a very generous moment.
Yeah.
Are you still close to your padrinos to this day?
I'm gonna go to their son's graduation in like a month. Yeah. And they also like take us on a lot of trips.
Like to like the fair kind of thing?
No, like trips.
Oh, trips. Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
No.
So we had the trip.
Yeah, they still do that. Like whenever they come here, they have like a school bus, and they'll just take like all our
A school bus? Wait, that's sorry, I just hit me.
Whoa.
A school bus?
They own like daycares.
Oh, okay.
So
They're like, hey, I'm gonna just steal your school bus.
so they'll take like all the cousins out to like Grand Slam or.
Wait, does this
In the
include like
school.
Jonathan and Evelyn?
Where you parked
Does this
it?
include like Jonathan and Evelyn?
It's just cool.
Or it's another family?
They're not family. They're friends.
They're not. Yeah, they're just friends.
They're
I'm not related to them.
Why you were cousins with either Zamir or Jonathan?
No.
That is crazy.
He's convincing me to get a CDL so I can drive me a bus.
That is crazy.
So you want to be friends?
I love you guys, you're cousins. They have told us this whole time. You haven't told me y'all were cousins.
They were
Jonathan's Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah, that's fair though.
Wait, are you talking Mexico, Jonathan?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maddie, have you shared?
Yeah, I did. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like. Well, for me, I would have to say generosity was displayed for the first time when I feel like the biggest impact that I definitely remember is it was like so small, I guess, but it was like I guess meaningful. When I got taken away from my mother, the teacher who was picking me up to take me to like a different facility, she felt, I don't really remember her like why she was crying, but I do remember she was crying. And when she came to get me, she gave me, or when she went to send me off to the principal, she gave me this bunny ring. And it was one of those like rubber bunny rings where you put it on and if you tap it, it lights up. It's been a while. They don't release those anymore, but it's been a while. I just remember she gave me that ring and she told me that if I was ever scared or worried, just to like tap it. I don't remember the teacher. Like I couldn't put a name to it, but I do know she was a blonde woman, and she was very sweet. I just don't remember having a connection with her, which I just thought it was so random. And that's basically like when I didn't know they were gonna take me away from my mother. To me, it was just a regular day of pre-K. Like I was like, oh, okay. Like the only difference was I was like prompted to go to like into a white van and go somewhere else. I know it's like really like white van, but it was like a CPS. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. Yeah. So they took me in there, and then I just remember like tapping the heck out of the bunny because it would just light up constantly. Like the Skechers when you hit it, I just remember lighting up constantly because I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. I never met this person who was driving me, and then when they drove me there, they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be a while before you see your mom," and I was like, "Mama." And I kind of always lived with my mom since I was 5, so I never knew my father, like actual father. So it was weird, and I just remember thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna have anyone anymore. But short story, I found my family. But I do remember I've always thanked her for that because I really wish I still had the ring. I don't anymore, but I looked it up online and I could definitely purchase one because I remember exactly what it looks like. I could draw it out for you guys, but I don't know. She didn't really have to give me anything, but she did. And I feel like that helped a lot. Yeah.
Sweet.
What a tissue
Listen.
I know Crumble Cookie gave you a napkin.
They actually did. Or
I don't know.
Yeah, she
Oh,
did.
gotcha.
Alex,
That's just so sad.
do you have a deep one?
You know, it makes me so
I
happy
already
when
said
people
mine.
are nice.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It just wasn't that deep.
You know, she's like, I'll go again.
Go again.
It got like sadder.
I know, it was like progressively
Yeah,
just like.
seriously, just getting sadder and sadder.
I don't know, guys. That skeleton one was pretty sick. I mean, like,
Yeah.
It's nice when people are nice because
But
you never
yeah,
know what one's going
it's nice
through.
to see how generosity affects so many people. Like it's not like it's like a
One and done.
a one and done or a one size fits all type of thing. That's what
How do you think it affects the person that gives and the person that receives?
oh my gosh, I was gonna say something so bad on that. So, like, one thing that hit me the most, cause like, I'm sorry, it's cause like I didn't realize it, cause I've always been like a talkative. Oh, I'm like a social butterfly to the max. If there's even anything above that, like a social dragon at that point. Like, I'll just randomly
Yeah,
talk
she is
to.
Ingrid.
No, oh, okay.
She breathes fire.
So it's like when I see someone that doesn't seem like their normal self, I will bug them until I know that they're okay. Until because there's some people that just be like no, and then at the third time they're like, all right, so this is what happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't back off until I know when to back off. And it's just like I remember the first time I realized like what was having an effect is when like I talked to that person, and then I noticed they were different, and I gave them a whole conversation, and I opened up to them. I told them that because they told me that they thought it was ironic because they would have never thought that I experienced the same thing they had or that I've been through the same things that they have because I just seemed so like happy and like it didn't bother me. And basically the reason why I was able to cope with it is because I also am very religious, so I believe that God does things for a reason. And so I remember just being like, life's too short to like stay hating someone or stay like judging or you know what I mean. I feel like it's just better to live life the way that like Jesus intended it to be, because I've honestly, my life has been a lot better ever since I decided to do that way. And I just remember telling them like my advice and everything. And then not too long after we had a conversation, probably like I guess it was kind of a while, a month afterwards, they had told me that specific night they were planning on doing something that would have harmed them and probably they were planning on harming themselves.
Yeah.
And so I just remember thinking like I would have never guessed that. I just thought they were upset and they needed some counsel. But they said that after what I talked to them about, that it helped them a lot and that they realized that they really wanted to try life one more time. And like that hit me because I was like, what if I wouldn't have talked to them? Like what if I wouldn't have nosed in or butted in? And ever since that forth, I just constantly made it like my job to make sure if I see someone who's in need, even if I don't know the person, butt myself in and like give them the advice even if they don't want it. And after them I've had a lot more people tell me like, you've helped me with this, you've saved me, and so etc. And it just, I don't know, it makes me feel like it weakens me because I feel so bad that someone else didn't or doesn't have the same mindset that I did because I was introduced to that path, you know. So like our pastor always says, I'm just a beggar telling another beggar where I found bread. And it's like a saying in the Bible where you were miserable, everyone is miserable at some point, but just look ahead in life. And some people don't get that opportunity to look ahead. I feel like that's always been a game changer for me, because it's like, why would I stop now?
It's also better to bug people than to not like try at all. I found that too. Like I do the same thing. I'll bug people if I see they're sad. I'll bug them and bug them and bug them, because you know when to back down. You know when not to bug them. But you know, usually if they are going through something, they will open up and they will tell you. They will tell you what they're going through, and it's always so relieving to understand or to talk to them, because say same thing, like I've experienced that too, where they're like they wanted to do something to themselves, and they don't talk to people because they can't. It's sad.
This reminds me of mental health. That month of mental health.
It definitely does tie hand in hand. Because like Irving said, can you imagine that lady? Imagine how many times she probably done that for another little kid, Because I know there are a lot of families out here struggling, especially day and age. And so like the amount of people she's probably helped. I know that if I were her, I'd go home not worrying about the $30-$50 I gave him. I'd feel good about myself. I'd be like, I did something for that kid, Like, even if you didn't, she probably had the mentality of you'd forget in like 3 days. But like you still remembered. She doesn't know that, but I don't know. I feel like when I grow older and like God willing, I be blessed, I do want to do my tithes, and I do want to give back to those who are misfortunate, because if I'm in the position, why not bless someone else?
Exactly.
Because generosity, I feel like it's not just also the physical things, just like I said, providing your emotional support. It goes a long way, because you never know how much someone might need it.
Yeah, that time I feel like is super important as well. Just like undivided attention, because I feel like a lot in this world, like everybody kind of feels kind of alone, kind of secluded, which kind of ties back to how you're talking about mental health. But like they can feel super alone, or they can feel like their experience, that nobody else would have had that experience. But when you're generous to them and when you can open up yourself, I feel like a lot of change, like that's when life change happens.
Yeah. I learned that from my mom and my dad at a very young age. When like you go to Mexico, you'll see kids everywhere. You'll see them everywhere, and some people don't have money. Some people they have their kids out there working, and like whether it was food, it was toys, it was like whatever they needed. Even when my parents didn't have a lot of money, they would still give their money. Just because you have a roof, you have food at home, you have somewhere to go. These kids don't. These kids are on the street, they're working, they're out in the sun, in the rain, in the cold. It's too hot outside, it's too cold, and they just kind of have to live with it while you don't.
It reminds me of in church when we talk about giving, and we'll talk about someone that gives, like someone who's rich and they give some of what they have, versus someone who gives all that they have. Even though it may not amount to as much as someone who's rich, it's all they have.
Yeah.
That also reminds me, when we go to Mexico, there's like a certain part, because we go like to like the downskirts of Mexico, so you see a lot of kids who are like at the windows with like cuffed hands trying to get something, And that reminds me when I was, because we go in car always, so it's like 2 days in a car kind of thing. And when we get to that point, it gets hot. Like, we are from a town where it's called Tierra Caliente, which means hot dirt. So it's like, or hot land. So it's like ironic because it is so suffocating there. And I remember we would have our blankets and stuff, because in December, when you're crossing, it's cold over here, like freezing. And then when you get over there, it's extremely hot. So like we'll be like rolled up pajamas and everything, but our blankets, we fold them and put them to the side of like the car. And I remember there was this little girl where she had like a ripped shirt. She had, I think it was something tied around her for the lower clothing, and she had no shoes, and she was dirty, and she was extremely skinny. And I remember being like, oh, I feel so bad. And like I was little at the time, so I didn't understand like giving my stuff to them, because I feel like, I mean, I barely had anything when I first went, because that was when I went to like my new family, so like I cherished everything I had. And like, those pillows that would fold, and like they were like, I don't know the name of them, but they come in like unicorns, ladybugs.
Oh yeah.
Pillow pets. Pillow pets, thank you. You would fold them. I had a purple unicorn, and you could fold it, and you could like the little, what do you call it, Velcro, and it could like make into like a lumpy pillow kind of thing, I guess you would say. My cousin rolled down the window and threw him a unicorn pillow to a little girl and was like, "Here you go." And I remember feeling so bad because I was little and I was like, "No," and I was trying to get it back from her, but we were continuously driving, and I just remember like, because she had her pillow there, she had her ladybug one, and I was like, "That's my pillow," and I don't know. I just remember thinking like, I guess that was the first time I experienced someone being generous, but it was like with my stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just,
He's like, "Here, I'll let you have my friend's house."
no, like literally. And I just remember my parents were like, "Stop fighting," and I was like, "My pillow is out there," and I was like, "I can't get it back now," because the girl was like hugging it.
Oh.
That's why at first I was arguing with my cousin because I was like, "You don't have my pillow, I'm about to throw out yours," you know, to like make it even.
Hey, she can have 2 pillows.
And then and then I looked back and I saw her and I was like, I guess I didn't need it, and so I kind of let that go, and I never saw it again.
Or like they come up to you for food and like, you know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Sometimes, you know, the kids don't realize it, but the parents, you know, do, and it takes a lot of like strength to ask for stuff when you like need it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've seen that too
takes
because
a
my
lot.
parents will give them like pesos and stuff, and they'll go run it. There'll be like 1 peso, and then they'll go run to the parents like, look.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh. that's
literally
like
anything
fresh
helps. Yeah.
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 Especially over there.
Yeah, over there there's a lot of poverty.
Especially with food. With food, like they'll come up, tap you. They do it to my dad all the time. He always leaves his food. They'll tap him, be like, "Hey, you can have your food," and he always says yeah, cause you know, like
Yeah.
whether he wants it or not, you know, they're little kids who don't have food.
Probably haven't eaten in days.
Yeah, probably haven't, and you'll see them. They'll take it, they'll go open it and eat it, or they'll eat it with you, and it just like you know, it's like me and my family, and then some little girl we saw and don't know, but she's sitting here eating with us, and you know, it doesn't bother my parents, it doesn't bother us because you know the situation's bad. It's bad over there.
It really is horrible.
And it's like that so many places too. Like there's so many times that I feel like we don't realize how grateful like we should be like in a country like ours. Like recently, I went to like Colombia and it was a big town, but there was still like the way that even like the architecture was, it's all like tin roofs and stuff like that, and so it's like, and it's all built on top of each other because it's on the side of a mountain, and so it's like one landslide and like the whole thing could crumble. And so it's like they rely so much on all of that kind of stuff. So it's like really, generosity is also thinking about like how grateful we are for like what we have too.
Yeah.
I kid you not, every single Mr. Beast video makes me cry. Because of the way he like, I've just seen it, like I don't know if it's real or whether it be fake or not. Or I mean, why are you making that face?
I'm just like Mr. Beast.
Oh, okay. I thought you would be like, yeah, it's fake, it's AI generated. It's because like when he would go, like there was this one video with the prosthetic legs.
Oh yeah.
Made me cry. I remember Daniel and I was like, when we finished it, I turned around and I was like, I just started bawling. Because he did people in Mexico, people in Colombia, people in like Guanajuato, like they went to he went to everywhere, and you could just tell. And it was sad because they shared their stories. People were up in the mountains and they couldn't reach it, so they would just stay there in their homes every single day. And like they didn't experience anything besides that mountain. Or like people were in the military and they didn't get it paid for because they were done dirty or something like that. There's many different occasions. Or even little kids that were like born like defective and they weren't able to walk. I don't know, just like all his videos always manage to make me cry because there are a lot of people who have money and they just choose to like
Not do good things with
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like seeing him do all that stuff where like he brought sight for those who can't see and like those always manage to make me cry, like for the hearing and stuff, because these are little kids and he's changing lives and he doesn't even realize it, because probably like half of those people or 1/3 of those people are gonna grow up and want to do the same thing, you know?
And I feel like a lot of us like even don't realize, like even when most of us heard you say like Mr. Beast, like it's like, oh, it's YouTube or whatever, but he is being generous, and that's like something that I feel like we should all value a lot, especially because a lot of people with that much money don't give that much money.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Or Hope Core TikTok. Hope Core, you know what that is?
Hope Core, yeah.
Yeah, where like they give money or they'll like buy out stores. I'm like, that is amazing. You know, and they're like small little businesses. And you don't know how much that helps them. You, like not everyone has the money to buy everything in the store or buy all the food and then give it out. I don't know if that's fake or not. You know, I don't know if they like have a deal with the store or not.
They're like giving my money back.
But it's like hopefully the people who are seeing that are also inspired by that too. Like
Yeah.
even if they're not receiving that, hopefully they see it and they're also like, I want to do something.
I love that for the longest time there was this challenge going around. Probably not on Tyler, but it was like pay for the person in front of you or pay for the person behind you. Daniel's been what do you call
I
it?
forgot about that.
Of course you. He's
What's
been
well, it was I think it was so me and Isaac were studying late night and we went to so first we had gone to what do you call it? What's that one
Chipotle.
place called?
That's what happens.
Chipotle. We had gone to Chipotle, and then we were still hungry, so we were like, let's go to Cane's. And then, kid you not, we got our food paid from in front of us, and then we were like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So like if I don't know that there's like traditional
Yeah,
music
like the pay it
first,
forward.
pay it forward. I feel like that was really sweet too because it's like I don't know, maybe someone's like barely got by to eat like a sandwich at a certain place, you know, or like even like a side entree or something like that, and you paid it for them. Like that's such a blessing, you know.
Or like they were debating going because they didn't have enough money,
Yeah.
and they ended up going and someone paid for it.
Exactly.
Or it could just be something simple and like they went and they're like, oh, you know, my food is paid for. That's, you know, maybe that's what they needed after a long sad day.
Have you all experienced that?
I have at Starbucks.
I have at
Yeah.
Starbucks once too. I was like, are you sure?
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean it's paid
I mean,
for?
it was a
Made me
cake
so
pop,
happy.
but you know, I was still grateful.
Shoot. I'm waiting. Anyway.
Well, I'm just gonna follow you around.
Follow me in the car.
Yes.
Okay.
Just here following.
She's like, hey,
I forgot.
no trip to go.
That's it. My bad.
Have you ever experienced it, Irving?
I mean, I've seen the meme where like he's like, "Hey, I'll pay it forward." And he tries to start a pay it forward chain, and then he like, and he's
Wait. And then he gets behind them.
It's so funny they were
like, dude, seriously? 55 burger, 55 fries, 55
And
fries.
I've been seeing
he
some
comes up to the window
That's
and
funny.
he just acts like he's just like
He puts a wig on. He's like, that wasn't me.
I've been seeing some YouTubers who like try to do that trend, and then they'll be like, "See, this car has less people. I'm gonna go behind them or something." And I'm like, "Dang." At least they're still doing it, but like, they'll be like, "I'm a YouTuber, but I'm not that famous" or something like that.
Or when they give like $100 to the $200 to like the person at the window. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, please.
The tips. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Have you ever received $1,000 tip before?" Huh?
They're like, what do you mean?
I've never seen it.
I'm about to.
That's actually amazing because like usually they're like, yeah, like, you know, I'm a college student or I'm a single mom, single dad, and it's like it breaks my little heart because I'm like, oh, people doing nice things.
Yeah.
You know,
That's really
I like to see that.
Okay, so Alexa, is there any last words you would like to share for people about being generous?
I don't think so. Just like if you're listening, maybe start paying it forward. Be generous.
Ironic, yeah.
Give people your time, and even if you don't have it, just you know, find those little moments so you can be kind to someone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that is the end of episode 7, part 1, and it was nice having you, Alexa. So, yeah,
Thank you guys.
of course.
Bye. Oh yeah, she was like
Schizo?
yeah, schizophrenia.
Oh my. What's that?